Okay, guys, just a quick gaming session report. So it's 2 a.m. Here in Auckland, and we've just finished playing Nevsky. Well, we're actually halfway through the game. We started at about 8:30, and it's 2 a.m. now. I'm playing the Russians again, and Patrick is playing the Teutons. And Patrick's going to give us a rundown in one moment as to what's taken place so far. We're currently exactly halfway through the campaign game, just having finished turn 8, heading into turn 9. And by the way, we're playing on Patrick's new gaming table, which is really cool because it's fantastic to play on. Feels really good, and we can actually just put the lid on and leave it like it is. Anyway, so Patrick, do you want to give us a rundown on how the game has gone so far?
Yeah, I think so. Early on, the key drama was the Teutonic Knights gathering. I think who was it? Not Andreas. It was Herman, Yaroslav, and the other one. What was it? I can't remember. One of the other lords. Oh, this guy here, who's permanently removed now. And heading for, well, first this one, Pskov, and then Pskov, and there was a big, a massive siege there that lasted, I think, until the early winter, which came out in the Teutons' favour. From there,
so at that point there, so Patrick, just interrupting for a moment,
yeah.
you snagged Pskov for 2 victory points.
Yeah.
And
but the way I snagged it was important too. Remember, it was I sieged it, and you had 2 lords there that were besieged. You tried to save them with a relief sally, so they sallied out, and a force coming in from the outside tried to break the siege but failed. And I think the lord that attempted to break the siege ended up being removed.
Yes.
Yeah. And then I just kept on sieging it, which forced the forces inside the stronghold to have to feed. And then eventually they starved and they raised the white flag. They were both removed. And then after adding a couple more siege markers, we felt brave enough to storm, and we finally took it. So it took quite a bit of logistics and planning, and a battle and then a storm. So it took a while.
Just so at the moment, my marker on there is I've just kicked out one of Patrick's lords, and I'm sieging Pskov again just to try and get it back. But it's
and also that left you very bare on the board for quite some time, because you had 2 of your strongest lords completely removed, and the other one routed. I can't remember if he was on the board or just very weak. And so David had almost nothing for, I think, 2 or 3 turns or something like that.
Yeah, easily. Yeah.
Until we got to where the brothers, Andre and Alexander, became available. And in the meantime, the Teutons took advantage of the fact that they'd controlled this area and had a nice stronghold here, and just ravaged and captured. They actually captured this one as well, and were racking up points. And Kudenabel was up here raiding along the coast. And I think, didn't you only have the Carillions at one stage?
The Carillions,
just sitting there for there was one of the turns, but that's all you
which
had.
were an extremely weak force and couldn't do anything.
And we were just sitting there, completely dominated by the Teutons.
So you can see from the state of the map at the moment that Russia's been completely ravaged, or largely ravaged. And while I've been trying to clean up some of the disaster down here, Patrick's been up north, just reconquering again.
Yeah,
and I just wanted to say, with that capture of Pskov, and also with Isborg, that really has stymied the Russians. That, as we were just discussing before this video, Pskov is a really central fortification to take, because it just opens up Russia completely for the Teutons.
Yes,
anyway, carry on.
Right, yeah. So when we got to the point where the brothers, Alexander and Andrea, became available, normally there's a decision to be made that whether or not, for the Russian player, whether or not to rack up victory points by pushing them along and not bringing them in as reinforcements. But I think David was forced to make the decision to bring them on very early. Now they're very powerful, and immediately they changed the sort of ratio of forces on the board. The Teutonic forces basically sat tight. They were pretty strong, but they no longer felt confident to sort of push further in. And then of course they had their feudal services end, or they had difficulty keeping their lords on the map, and eventually it flipped, and this huge force came down, reconquered, what is that, Dorkov, and won a battle there that permanently eliminated a Teutonic lord, Rudolf von Kassel, who tried to defend the stronghold. He thought he could at least hold it for a little while, but turned out he didn't. And an event sent Andreas right back to his home in Riga, and the whole thing just completely changed, although the points are still very much in the Teutonic favour.
So yeah, Patrick's on 10 points and I'm on 1 point. So as we were discussing a moment ago, the only path for victory now is to defeat or eliminate all the Teutonic lords, and that's going to be tricky because a couple of them are still quite strong. And
also likely I'll be bringing more on.
Yeah. So we'll leave the set up for a day or maybe a night. We'll decide whether we want to finish the campaign or move on to something else. But yeah, so that's the state of the play with Nevsky. Another great evening's play.
Yeah. So I just want to mention one other thing that was very interesting was I had the ransom event, and when those two Russian lords came off, it was then like 8 coin, which was a huge swing.
8 coin, amazing.
Yeah.
Okay, guys, so that's Nevsky, and we'll let you know whether we finish this campaign. Either way, we had a great gaming session with it, and we've just brought Empire of the Sun around, and we're hoping we can get that onto the new gaming table and give that a blast at some stage as well. Anyway, we'll let you guys go. It's getting early in the morning. See ya, bye.